There are two words that don't typically ever go together, and that is horses and inexpensive. But sometimes you can find affordable products that you can use for your horse, so you can save the rest of your dollars for everything else that you're going to need for your horse. Today I want to share with you my favorite dollar store items for equestrians. Hello my equestrian friends, it's me Lisa, the Budget Equestrian. Welcome back to today's video. So like I said in the beginning, horses and inexpensive, those words really don't go together. But there are different things that you can do so that you can save money for those bigger purchases. Just like in my last video where I shared with you the Voltaire saddle that I got, it was secondhand, so it's going to be more affordable. But I also saved money up in order to get that saddle, which is awesome, by the way. I have to say, very, very nice saddle. And I'm really happy that I bought it. But if I didn't economize in other ways, it would have taken me a lot longer to be able to save enough money to buy that saddle. And I know when you think of the dollar store, you don't really think that the dollar store is going to have things for horses. But you would be surprised by just using the MacGyver side of your brain what you can do with some of these dollar store items. So I thought it would be fun to share with you what my favorites are and maybe give you a little bit of an idea of some things that you can do in your own barn with things that you get at the dollar store. So the first and probably one of my most favorite items that I buy there is these over-the-door hangers. So each of these hangers has 6 hooks on them and they work fantastic for holding things up like halters or lead ropes, or in my case, ear bonnets and different kinds of tack. These are very affordable at $1 for 6 hooks. You just have to have either a door that you can hang them over or make place on a wall that you can hang them up. And I even found my favorite rub rag at the Dollar Tree. This thing is so great. It works fantastic for cleaning your tack, polishing your tack, and it also works really great on your horse's coat to bring out a little bit of extra shine. And sometimes they can be a little bit challenging to find, but when I can find them, I usually buy an extra 1 or 2 just so that I have it because they work so well. It's not really a microfiber rag. It might be, but it's kind of a little bit longer and it's super, super soft. I think this is why it works so great on my horse's coats. And you can find these rags in the automotive section at the Dollar Tree. Dry erase boards are something else that are really handy to have out in the barn. You can keep things on it like your horse's feeding information, important phone numbers. And I took a big piece of foam board that I got at the dollar store and I put 2 dry erase boards on it with important phone numbers and feeding schedules for my horses. And this acts like a command center in my tack room. So if someone is coming and taking care of my horses or if an emergency happens, I have all of the information right there. So basically anyone that is in my barn will know who my vet is and what to do with my horses. And if you don't have a lot of wall space, but you wanted some place to store things like maybe gloves or your horse boots, they have these cute little bins. Of course, they're $1. Everything that I'm telling you about is $1. And these bins are wonderful for either hanging on the wall or just keeping things organized and together. I really like having this at the front of my barn because I can put my gloves and little things in it so that they don't get lost. And you can even find coconut oil. Coconut oil is awesome. It works great as a conditioner. It even works as an anti-itch, like ointment, I guess you could call it, for your horse's tails. And it gives them a little bit of shine too. And if you don't have any hoof conditioner for your horse, you can actually use the coconut oil on their hooves and it helps to condition them and keep them so they don't get so dried out. And if you don't want to spend a lot of money on horse treats, or if you wanted to add an addition to your homemade horse treats, you can get a bag of peppermints. They also have wintergreen. And you can either feed the peppermints to your horse just like they are, or you can put them on top of a homemade horse treat to have a really fancy treat. Now, when you're at the Dollar Tree and you go to the cleaning area, the thing with the different tools and stuff, there's all kinds of really nice scrub brushes that you can buy. The scrub brushes that I like are the flat ones, and I use those for cleaning buckets as well as cleaning the water tanks for my horses. And of course, you can't forget flowers. Flowers are awesome, especially if you're making your own horse jumps and you need some fillers for those jumps. You can find different flowers at the dollar store that work really well as fillers for your jumps. And if you go back over to the beauty aisle, you'll find they have different hairbrushes. And I found this hairbrush a while back, and I have to say it's probably one of my favorites. It works really well, it doesn't get tangled, it doesn't rip out a lot of hair, and the best part is it cost $1. And while you're in the beauty aisle, if you have long hair, like I do, you can find hair ties too. And you can find like groups of hair ties, like 20 or 40 different hair ties. And to go along with that, they also have headbands. So if you're riding and you take your helmet off and your hair goes everywhere like mine does, then you can just take one of those headbands, put a headband on, and it'll keep your hair all nice and smooth and looking well while you're doing chores or working around the barn after you get off of your horse. And they even have the little tiny elastics, so if you wanted to practice braiding your horse's mane or tail, you can get a really big package of these little band elastics. You could even use them for banding your horse's mane if you ride Western, but it's really affordable and it's nice to have. And while we're in the beauty aisle, let's talk about the scissors they have there. They actually have hair cutting scissors. They aren't professional by any stretch of the imagination, but they are a nice pair of shears. So if you wanted to trim your horse's mane, just bang off the bottom of his tail, or just do little touch-up trimming around his legs, they work pretty well. And we're still in the beauty aisle, and I have to tell you, one of my favorite detanglers that I found and seems to work really well, I got at the Dollar Tree. This detangler, even though it's $1, it works really well. It's watermelon scented, and it's in a nice squirt bottle. So I can just put it in my grooming bag, and when I'm grooming my horses, spray a little bit of this on their tails or their manes, and then I can carefully brush through their mane or tail, and there's no more tangles. And if you're having your own horse show, or you wanted to dress up how you display your ribbons, they have these really cool silver trays. Usually they have the round one, and then one that's kind of got like a scalloped edge around it, which are really pretty. That's why I picked up a couple of them, and I have them on display with a few of the ribbons that I've won in the online horse shows that I've participated in. Another thing I like to pick up are baby wipes. Baby wipes are really helpful to have in the barn for cleaning your horse's nose, cleaning his eyes, or just getting some of the dust off of his face. Pleasant likes to wear his breakfast a lot, so I will take the baby wipes and I will wipe off the remnants from the breakfast that he's eaten so that he just looks a little bit nicer. It's also nice to have the baby wipes if you don't have running water, that you can wash off your hands with the baby wipes when you're at the barn. And of course you can find shampoo and conditioners there too. The Silkience one, I've actually used this a couple of times, and it's a nice big 32-ounce bottle of shampoo or conditioner, and it seems to work really well. You don't need very much of it. It goes a long way. And the horses don't seem to mind that I didn't spend a lot of money on their shampoo. And usually when I'm there, I'll also pick up a container of dish soap. I have a big bottle of dish soap for my house, but I also keep one out in the barn so that I can use it to clean the water tanks, clean the water buckets that are in my horses' stalls, or even their feed buckets. And a while back when I went, they even had Dawn, I can't remember what it was called. It was like Dawn Premium or Ultra. And it works really, really well. It's not as big of a container as the other bottles that you can get there, but even that size, it was a smaller size, it lasted a really long time. And if you have clippers or hair cutting equipment for your horses, one thing that's really cool that they have is a toolbox. No, it's not anything fancy, but it works fantastic for keeping your smaller items or all of your clipper supplies together, so that way you know where it is in your tack room. I really like this toolbox, and it works fantastic for keeping my clippers and all of the supplies together. And something else really fun that you can get are safety cones. So if you go to the toy section, they have 2 packs of the smaller cones that are probably about 8 inches tall. But if you go to the automotive section, they have the larger orange safety cones, And these are great to take out into your arena to use for training your horse. These are so much fun to use, and at $1 for the bigger ones, this is a really, really great deal. And they even have headlamps. Headlamps are really nice, especially if you don't have electricity in your horse's barn or if his stall is dark. You can put the headlamp on, and that way you can see what's going on, you can see your horse, and you still have two hands free. This is really helpful if your horse has an injury and you're waiting for the vet and it's dark, because that's when it seems like horses always tend to get hurt. This way you can actually see the cut or whatever it is that you want to see while you're holding your horse's leg or holding onto your horse, and you don't have to worry about only having one hand. The headlamp, I think, is an excellent addition to my first aid kit, so I have a couple of them out in my barn right now. And if you don't have one, you really should get one. And of course, you can pick them up at Dollar Tree for $1. And if you have a horse or barn or both, you should probably have a set of screwdrivers. You never know when you're going to need a screwdriver. If you're hanging something up, or I don't know, we always need screwdrivers, right? So you can buy a set of screwdrivers and just keep it in your tack room. You could also put one in your first aid kit. You never know, you might need it. And it's nice because they have several different sets to choose from, and they're affordable, so why not? So those are a few of the things that I routinely buy at Dollar Tree when I go. I also buy lots of different picture frames that I can use, and I have to say they have some really nice photo frames. I love the different styles of photo frames, and of course, at being $1, I can actually afford to frame some of the pictures that I've taken of me and my horses, along with everybody else in my family. So if I'm needing something for my horse, a lot of times I will sit there and think, I wonder if I could find this at the Dollar Tree. And a lot of the times I can. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to find tack or anything there. That would be amazing. But it is nice to be able to go to the store and find things that are affordable, so that way I can save money for bigger purchases later on. I don't necessarily have to go out and spend $10 on a rub rag or $15 on a bottle of hoof conditioner. If I can go to the Dollar Tree and find both of those things for $1, I'm going to do that. Because it's really fun when you find a good deal, and I always seem to find a deal at the dollar store. What about you? What's your favorite thing at the dollar store? I would love to know what you find at the dollar store and how you use it for your horses, or in your home even. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite dollar store item is to buy. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can watch all my other DIY projects, product reviews, and horse-related videos showing you how to make the most of the time that you have with your horse. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.